Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Today I'm going to tell you about a position we have in our PIF growth portfolio, and I'm going to let you know why we have this position, what is our thinking around it, and it's perhaps a opportunity that is missed on many investors. I think considering perhaps it's less glamorous than the tech-heavy AI opportunity, for example. But this is good because when an opportunity is less crowded, there is more room for upside. So I do aim on this channel to always provide halal alpha, above market returns for people who tune in, and then add even more value for PIF members. But I'm sharing this opportunity because not everyone can become a PIF member, can afford it. But um, this is, free alpha that I wanted to share with you guys. So at least I hope it is. So Bismillah. Not financial advice. Be sure to do your own due diligence before making any investing decisions. So, why are we interested in lithium? Well, the demand for lithium globally is expected to 3x by the end of this decade and 40x by 2040. And in the United States, the numbers are even larger uh, with regards to demand for lithium. And this is primarily driven by demand for EV currently, and more with time, it's going to be driven by demand for energy storage solutions, batteries. And I think that with time, the demand for these batteries are going to dwarf the demand that's generated from just electric vehicles, because after all, that's just one application of batteries. There are, so many other applications that one can think of, whether it's utilities or just, you know, um, storing energy for your home, and the battery sizes and counts will be far greater than what electric vehicles alone uh, demand. And the demand for electric vehicles, at least in the United States, has been dropping in terms of the growth rate. So if you look at April 2022, it was at 76%. November 2023, it was plus 42%. Now, that's still growing, and at 42%, growing year over year, that's growing by a lot. And especially considering the slowdown that happened last year, those are not too shabby numbers. But um, growth has slowed, and this has caused lithium prices to suffer. That said, growth in the United States will continue to remain robust even in 2024. And if you ask different analysts, they'll give you different numbers, but they generally vary between 9 and 11%. Keeping in mind that last year, the here I'm talking about the percentage of overall sales that are EV sales. So it's expected to be between 9 and 11%. Last year, it was 7.6%. So again, between 30 and 40% increase in the demand for EVs in the United States is expected. And with that, there's going to be an increased need for lithium batteries to power these vehicles. But the market for lithium has taken a tumble in terms of the price of lithium. And in fact, we've reached levels we haven't seen since 2021. So we have growth increasing, or I'm sorry, growth, uh, very robust growth in EVs, but it is slowing down, that growth is. But we have other sources of demand, and also we have a date with interest rate cuts, which may increase the demand for EVs and get the economy moving at a faster pace. And so, just looking at the chart, your initial impression is that, well, we do seem closer to the lows than we are the highs. However, the regardless of the forecast for prices, the current situation and the prices of lithium today have forced supply cuts. So, lithium miners are doing less mining. A lot of projects that are in the lithium mining space have been postponed or even canceled. And a lot of lithium miners have resorted to selling out their inventory, which they stockpiled a lot of when the prices were very high because prices were going up and they didn't want to sell. So, a lot of these stockpiled lithium um, inventories are being depleted. And when you combine that with the number of projects falling and the amount of lithium mining falling. And on the other hand, demand scheduled to increase, supply is decreasing, demand is increasing. You have demand exceeding supply, and you have a supply crunch. Probably sounds familiar considering how much we've been talking about Bitcoin. And futures traders have actually become aware of this. And you can see this in the fact that futures prices are in something called contango, wherein future prices are actually higher than today's prices. And so you can see lithium hydroxide and lithium carbonate prices are higher than, for futures contracts, are higher than what they are today. So all this led me to want to add a lithium miner to my portfolio. And I came across Piedmont Lithium. This is a company that has taken a beating in the last year. It actually had a peak in, I think it reached the 70s, but now it's trading at $14. Today it was actually up, close to 13%. But in the last year, it's down close to 80%. We didn't have it for the last year. We added it recently to our growth portfolio, in case you're wondering. But Piedmont Lithium has the advantage, for me at least, in that most of its mining is based in North America. The problem with finding a sort of halal-conscious lithium miner is that I want to avoid companies with substantial activity in China, and a lot of these lithium miners have substantial activity in China. The reason why I want that is because it's hard to verify the conditions of mining in a country like China. Piedmont Lithium was focused on North America. They do have operations in Ghana now, but for the most part, they're in North America. So that was a plus. But also, their balance sheet was quite robust. So they have $0 in debt. As of December 31st, they had 72 million in cash. And they actually generated 49 million in additional cash in a sale in Q1 of a stock position they had in a lithium related company that they do business with. So they're cash rich, relatively speaking. And also their valuation is extremely attractive, even after today's little run up. Uh, their valuation is around 245 million. Keep in mind they have 100 million basically in cash, but also they're expecting to generate in terms of operating cash flow 100 million in cash in 2025. So it's like, okay, you have a company that's trading for $2.50, and you expect it to generate, if it doesn't, even assuming it doesn't generate cash in 2024, but it should. Uh, if you look at 2025, it's going to generate a dollar. Would you buy a company? Would you buy something that's going to generate a dollar in 1 year for $2 and around 50 cents? Well, yeah, you would, right? So you'll recoup your investment and half of your investment at least in 24 months, basically. So the valuation is quite good, and insiders, which is I think one of the telltale signs of a good company, insiders are actually buying. So if you look at, by the way, this is a cool feature that Robinhood has added. I encourage people to look at it. So selling, I found over the years, insider sales tend to be noise. Insider buying tends to be signal. And so if you look at the insider buying, you can see that insiders bought PLL at 60, they bought it at 57, at 44, and they bought it most recently in January at 15. So everything is pointing towards a pretty strong chance of this turning out to be a pretty good investment, assuming that you have the patience to see it through. That is, no one really knows when the market for lithium is going to turn around, but it's safe to say, I think, that it will. And I do think that the worst is probably behind us at this point. That said, nothing is guaranteed, but based on my analysis, it does seem probable that this yields quite a good result. And then finally, I'll say headlines like these actually encourage me uh, to get into a particular space. So despair means that things are not frothy, means that the opportunity to buy at a discount is high. And when you see headlines like this, crashing lithium prices turn the industry from euphoria to despair, that to me is a sign that, hey, maybe this is a good time to add some shares. And it's perhaps counterintuitive, but over time, if you do investing long enough, you start to rewire your brain to look out for small anecdotes like this. So despair is when you want to be buying, euphoria is when you want to be selling, generally speaking. So with that, if you'd like to follow my portfolio move for move, not just my growth portfolio, but crypto and dividend portfolio move for move, consider becoming a PIF member. Oh yeah, and leave a like. Yesterday's live did not get a lot of likes, so make sure to make up for that. Today, I'll go to questions. Salam habibi wa alaikum salam. At what point should we take some profit? How does the halving influence taking some profit? Actually, today I took some profit, as PIF members know. I did. We have been on quite a run with some of the cryptos that we have in our portfolio and our Bitcoin mining stocks in particular. So I took some profits. I don't take profits in one fell swoop typically, but unless my thesis has changed on something or I found out something material about a position that I have and I just want to get rid of it, perhaps it became uncomfortable to me. From a halal perspective, that's when maybe I'll do something in one fell swoop. But typically, I don't like to do that. I stagger out of my positions as I stagger, and I also stagger into my positions as well. I don't go in one fell swoop. Thank you, brother Rashad. Wa alaikum salam. Uh, Rashad says, I see that this sector will take a minimum of 5 years to recover. It was punished by the market really hard. I disagree, but we'll have to wait and see, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, says Anas. Wa alaikum salam. Could you please talk about how we can buy lithium? I mean, best halal ETF and platform. So I actually did not buy an ETF of lithium. Again, something that you need to keep in mind with regards to lithium miners is that a lot of them have operations in China, and you can't really verify the conditions of work on the supply chains in China. We all know about the Uyghur Muslims and their plight. So I've avoided lithium miners that have substantial operations in China. And that really led me to Piedmont Lithium, which does not. And so I actually have exposure to lithium through Piedmont Lithium, which is a lithium miner. Ammar asks, is it too late to buy Bitcoin? I don't think so. And I'm pretty sure if you asked me from here until 6 months from now, I'll tell you it's probably not too late. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourselves. Subscribe if you haven't already. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.